Kia ora, folks. Here we are, episode 19 of the AUNZ Music Podcast. Welcome back. And today we are joined by my Kiwi friend, Ash Sales. How are you doing today, brother?
Kia ora, bro. Awesome. It's got a beautiful sunny day.
Let's go.
Can't complain, eh?
Gizzy with the goods. I'll give you a little bit of background info on Ash. Ash is a 31-year-old musician, guitarist, producer, and looping artist living off-grid in Gisborne, New Zealand. He started professionally straight out of high school, playing cruise ship party bands, later moving into corporate work and winemaking while keeping music alive on the side. 3 years ago, he left that behind to return fully to his own creative work, immersive instrumental soundscapes. His debut album, Reflections, released in January 2024. For 4 years now, he and his wife, Annabelle, have shared medicine music with their local community, and Ash has hosted sound healing events around Gisborne. His work now sits at the intersection of guitar, world music, and frequency, distinctly his own sound. Indeed. Very interesting collection of experiences there, Ash. Before we dive into that musical set of knowledge and unique set of skills, one silly fun fact that isn't related to your musical practices, something you've got, anything juicy?
Yep.
Hit us.
This one's real juicy and not as pleasant as well. I poop in a bucket and I carry it to a compost.
I had my suspects that it was going to be that one. We were talking before the show started. It is a juicy one.
Yeah, it's a good one to chuck out there because it's true and it's contrasting to the world these days.
Yeah, poo raises eyebrows.
Yeah.
Poo is still a funny thing.
I deal with my own shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Nice. I mean, there's not too much else to say about poo. I like it. I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
We're going to move into our news article of the month. This one is from music.nz, entitled National Finalists for 2026 Smoke-Free Rockquest and Smoke-Free Tangata Beats revealed. Rockquest Promotions are thrilled to reveal the 25 national finalists for Smoke-Free Rockquest and Tangata Beats 2026. These acts reflect the immense breadth of talent and creativity emerging from the next generation of Aotearoa's music community. And I'm going to quick fire list the names. First, in the pool of bands, Deaf Raccoon, Fork, Go Getter, Grizzly Fish, Lux, Sidetracked, Talking Furniture, and Trolleys. For the duos and soloists, Bella Watson, Iotiva, Lily Moore, Mind the Gap, Oscar Walsh, Sophie Toyne, Stella Riley. And for the beats, which is a new category in my realm of the Smoke-Free Rockquest thing, we have Copium, Defects, DNA, Naihau Airfi, Rauhui. Sorry, my te reo is not great. Ribbits, Superfly, Temptations, Tuela, e Tu Fare Torian. Sorry, guys.
Nice one.
I don't think I hit that one, but we got it out there. These finalists earned their place after competing in one of 21 regions from the far north to Southland, where more than 1,100 acts and over 3,700 student performers brought their original music to a professional stage across 37 live events. The national winners will join an impressive alumni list including Alien Weaponry, Joe's Van, Broods, and Evermore. They'll also compete for a prize pool valued at over $60,000 from the Rock Shop and NZ On Air. The finals take place across 3 days, starting September 17, so you still have a chance to get along if you're down for it, folks. Now, Ash, did you ever participate in the Rockquest in your days in high school?
Yeah, actually, I did twice. I have a funny relationship with the Rockquest. 2009
Please.
and 2010, I attended, and being a young, I was in year 9 and 10 college. I had a band, and it was kind of, the band was called Chaotic Tranquility, and it was like a heavy metal, Evanescence kind of vibe. And it was a pretty big experience for like a young 13, 14-year-old. Like the pressure is there for that young generation. What's kind of beautiful as I've seen it kind of grow is that there's actually been a bit more mentorship for kids. And so when
Yeah.
I kind of was getting into the year 11, 12 and 13, I always kind of struggled to find like a dedicated group of people to keep jamming and making music, and I would have opposing music styles to some of the people. Even though I kind of had people that I would jam with, it just never went to a band, and then I never really kind of went deeper into the smoke-free Rockquest kind of scene. That makes sense.
Yeah. So you had a it sounds like you encountered the full dread of performing and
Yeah. Well, like not knowing,
navigating that.
yeah, not had no one to like learn or because it's a big thing to go on the stage and play a song, and you're being judged is probably the correct word. I don't mean judge as like a negative thing, but that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
a competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, no, you're right. It's massive actually.
yeah,
And even like it's not just a song.
no,
It's an original song.
yeah, yeah,
It's like it's probably your first original
yeah,
song,
and
realistically.
it's personal, like
Yeah.
especially if you wrote
Very
the
well.
lyrics, and let's be honest with the younger generation, when I was that age, there was only a few core topics that I'd talk about, and it was quite personal being a 16-year-old person.
Yeah, totally. And to express those publicly,
Yeah,
it's quite a social statement. And
yeah,
it's enough of a social statement to even just get up on a stage if you're a Kiwi, standing out from the bunch,
yeah,
tall poppy syndrome and all that.
yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right. It is a crazy, crazy thing. My experience of the Rock Quest was just kind of falling into it, just being like, oh, I identify as a musician. Oh, this is like the musician competition thing. Okay, who else identifies as a musician in my small town of Balclutha?
yeah,
I guess we have to do something. Like it just kind of happens.
yeah. I wonder if it's because I grew up in Wellington. There's probably a bit of a different culture, and what was really cool is
True.
zeal. There was like a community um, that was for under 18-year-olds that would have a venue in Wellington on Tory Street above the bodega, and they'll put on like under 18 shows, which was really cool. So once I kind of started getting into that kind of scene when I was 15, 16, 17, that's when you kind of learn the ropes of performing too, is just doing it and having the opportunity, or actually going to watch a show. Because my first time playing Smoke-Free Rockquest, I've never been on a stage. I never
Yeah.
had that. Like I played in front of my parents and my mates' parents, and you got to
Yeah.
get a biased feedback
Yeah.
from
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, it's a complex one, especially for teenagers.
Yeah, I think so. And so were you a guitarist in those bands?
Yeah, I primarily, always been guitar. I can't really sing. My rhythm shot. I explore all those things, of course, but my strong point was guitar.
See, I think that's a more interesting experience for an instrumentalist because I would say in general, primary school kids who are singers have probably already had the chance to be on the stage and perform. I don't think as often you'll see like an instrumentalist get up in primary school to play something, but like I know I had like I'd been a singer through primary school, so I had like done some talent shows or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Did you
Or
do like
I remember my
choir?
first week of what's that?
Did you
Sorry,
do choir or anything like that as well?
I did do a choir in primary
Mm.
school. Yeah, I did, but that's different as well because you can blend into a group. You
Yeah.
know, I can remember in my first week of high school, I got up and sang just me and my guitar in assembly, which was just one of the most terrifying experiences ever.
Yep.
A big like a high school
Yeah.
is all these people that everyone's older than you,
Yeah.
and the people who are your age you don't even know yet.
Yeah.
It's a big statement.
It's huge.
And I sang like a country song because I used to sing in a country music club. So I
Oh,
was
okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we had. That's what we
Yeah.
had down there, a country music club. So, but just reflecting back to the idea that I felt like I almost just fell into the Rockquest
Mm.
because I had this musical identity thing. It also, like you said, it helped me practice that identity as well. Just being on stage in a group and, like I said, just learning on by doing it.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah. What I have noticed though is I kind of touched on it before, but in Wellington with that zeal, there was a guy called Ricky Boyd who lives in Gizzy, and he kind of started the band school there, where it was just kind of more about mentorship and and just helping bands and have a musician come in and listen and give feedback and that. And I feel like that's kind of created a ripple effect in the culture where there's kind of more people coming involved into some of these teenage bands, especially in the Rockquest. There's a lady in Gisborne who has had quite a few successful bands because she's really mentoring them. They're already great musicians. They just need that shaping or just a bit of guidance or experience. And some of these kids, you just can't stop once they have that confidence and
Yeah.
can make decisions with their writing style as well and being consistent. Like those are pretty valuable skills. And if you don't know them, it's you have to learn them after a while. You know?
Yeah. Totally. I those are massive actually, the confidence and to be able to make creative decisions. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how that happens exactly, but they feel like they cross over, like the confidence and being able to make a creative decision.
Yeah. Yeah, decisions are hard because you ultimately you have to be making your decision in here rather than there. There is a time and place for that.
Yeah.
But is it going to put more value into the song having this idea or not? And in a way, for me, doing like the instrumental music, I have to lean on many ideas and kind of string them together because I haven't got a story in terms of vocals and lyric. And so with the decision making, it can sometimes be very just like, yeah, I know my body, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm going to re-record that, I'm going to put it together. And sometimes it's just a matter of time. And where something that worked one day, if you let it sit and kind of simmer, it starts to not feel right. Even though it probably is right, but it doesn't feel right. And
Yeah.
that's probably when you do make that decision. If you know that you can feel it, if it's giving you goosies, then that's going to feel right. If it's not, it might do. I don't know, but that's that kind of threshold where you're like, okay, I've got to either move on or stick with it.
Yeah. So true. Interestingly though, I would say it can happen both ways. I could say that there's something that didn't necessarily feel good today that I did end up recording anyway. And then I come back to it in a few days and I'm like, oh, actually, I'm in. with that now. That sits nicely now.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
So it's hard. It's a hard decision.
yeah. Well, it also depends on your style too, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Um, if you're playing a like a metal song, like you know that you're gonna have a breakdown, so there's already like a little structure
Mm.
that you can decide on, and then
Blueprint.
yeah, you got a blueprint. And same with like country music, there's certain textures and that you want to use to bring out that vibe of the song or that genre. Or so there's those decisions that are probably easier because you kind of got your vision, like your identity, like you're saying, right? Um, you can use those tools to basically shape your identity of your music and your genres, and that's kind of what separates genres, really. The
Yeah.
playing style, the textures, the instrument, the groove.
Yeah, it's trying to find those points of difference that make it uniquely yours within the genre, isn't it? If you've got that kind of blueprint structure that you can mold around, it's how do you find these moments within that structure that kind of cut through the structure itself, break the structure for a moment, just enough little novelty or a signature moment of yours, particularly, whatever it may be.
Yeah. You probably have had this feeling, and I think most of us musicians do, is like we're always jamming other people's songs, whether it's like for cover bands or just for yourself. I learn some songs just for my own practice and try new techniques. And you kind of take that little piece and then it kind of becomes part of your style. And then one day it's no longer recognizable, but that foundation's actually come from the song that I learnt. Everything that I've learnt is being expressed through my own voice, essentially.
Yeah. The babies of what you've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of listening to other people's songs, we're going to tune in now for our song of the month and close out part 1 here. This month's song is When the Shit Went Down by Ella Hooper. We're going to have a quick listen to that and come back and have a chat. See you soon.
In my mind, I'm 39, 'cause that's when the shit went down. A part of me's frozen in time and still waiting to thaw out. Things were already quite surreal, the world was fully on fire. Blood on the streets, military zeal, but it weren't yet the worst of times. And when the shit went down, it came with a full force. When the shit went down, it came riding a white horse. Batting the hatches, didn't want
When the Shit Went Down by Ella Hooper. This one must resonate with you, Ash, with the shit going down.
Down the compost.
But in all seriousness, where did this song resonate with you? What grabbed you? Where did you go?
I'm a sucker for country music, but what I actually really love, there's quite a lot of surprise in there, and I kind of picked up on the bass line hitting the major third every second time it does its progression. And it's just like something super subtle, but it just gives it an uplift.
Yeah.
And yeah, when that surprise happened, I'm like, oh sweet, I'm in for a ride,
Yeah.
And it was
The song's all about a ride too, isn't it? When we all know that feeling when the shit goes down.
yeah.
It shook her family tree, That's real.
Yeah.
But generally kind of it has a light feel, the song, right?
It's kind of like that California country kind of vibe where like it's a driving tune, right? Like you just feel like you're on the move and
Mm-hmm.
you got space around you, and you can process with your mind, and with the beautiful rhythms. And what I loved actually in that last chorus was the counter melody coming in. And it's just super subtle, but it gives a lot of weight for that melody to come in, and it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, and even that last chorus, how it does start to wind
Mm.
down and sort of just fades into that outro in a big long ringing chord
Yeah,
to finish out. That felt very intimate and real, and it was like a move away from that driving
yeah,
feel, and then something a bit more still,
yeah, like a
kinda.
clarity kind of moment. You know, when you are and stuck in your thoughts, and you're thinking of all the shit, and you're all wound up, and you're filtering, and then it's like, oh, I don't care anymore, kind of.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
release.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can't hold on to
yeah,
the
for
shit
sure.
too much.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know that better than anyone. Hey, and if you want to hear that full song, guys, go check it out. Ella Hooper, When the Shit Went Down. A lot of what we talk about on this podcast sits under a broader artist development question: how musicians make decisions, prioritize their energy, and build practices that actually hold up over time. And that's the work GYMjot focuses on. If you're curious whether that kind of support is relevant to where you're at, there's a free 30-minute consultation available at the website gymjot.com.au. Now, with all that said, let's get back into the artist development side of this conversation. Ash, I'm not sure where you'd like to take this little segment. We kind of leave it in the guest's court, but we're looking for insights, stories, anything that you reflect on to be of significant value in your artist journey, development moments. Yeah, what do you got?
Cool. When you sent me these questions, I was thinking about them. What's useful? Because I could pick any moment really, but a big thing was doing my time as a gigging musician. Doing the cruise ship. The cruise ship, I didn't go to university to learn or like to get my chops up. I essentially had a apprenticeship, joined a band.
Yeah.
Basically had to learn all these songs, be consistent, be amongst people that are 100 times better than me on the guitar, and be humbled. But learning the skill to ask and learn from other people. So I was around people from like Ukraine, Russia, the States that were amazing jazz musicians. And there's one lady in particular, and she's from New Zealand. I met her on the cruise ship, and Andrea Lisa, and she's a phenomenal jazz guitarist. And I was so grateful. I was just like, hey, can you show me a few things? And just having that courage to like, actually, you're an amazing musician. I love it. I'm not seeing you as a competition. I'm seeing you as like inspiration. And this is kind of like the mindset that helped me grow as a musician, because it can be challenging, especially with it, like you're competitive with your own self, and then especially these days we've got social media and we're seeing these people that do chops, amazing thing, but you kind of get lost in that world and you kind of forget who you are as a musician and what you want to tell a story. And so by doing all these corporate gigs, like doing the cruise ship, doing hundreds of weddings, bars, things like that, which I still do, you kind of learn the skill of obviously your skill set and the physicalness, but with music, you kind of learn that like, oh, I do not have to be the most amazing technical person. It's about how I deliver the music. And on the cruise ship, I had the skill of not being the best guitarist or anything, but would play like something like Jumping Jack Flash from Rolling Stones. And I had the courage to like with my wireless pack, like jump on the tables and give these people a show, which is absolutely hilarious. And I'm shit scared of doing it these days, but I think with a bit of courage I probably could. But I'd give them a show, and it was more I'm putting my heart and soul into it. And like, we all know the song, we all love it, when I'm bringing nostalgia back for the punters on the cruise ship, and it's a great party. But how can I enhance it? It's not necessarily with my skill, like being precise with my skills. It's like, how can I express it? And one big part of that is the performance aspect.
For sure. Highlighting that word courage, because that does take a lot of
Yeah.
courage. Man, it can take courage just to look an audience member in the eye while you're performing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comes down to I truly think it comes down to ours. There's a level of personality thing too, but I'm quite a shy hermit, really. But it was more like I could be this person that, like Angus Young. Like, if Angus Young can jump on a table, why can't I do it on a cruise ship and elevate the performance? Like, it sounds really corny, but those people that were there, they had an amazing time. They loved it. And when you're feeling that state of, like, you enjoy a show, you go watch, and you feel like in awe, or you're having an amazing time, that really uplifts you. That makes being a human being like amazing experience, because you're feeling joy, and it's a form of pleasure, really.
You could even say that is what makes you a human being, those experiences of awe. Yeah. And doing that day in, day out. I've had some friends that played on cruise ships as well, and day in, day out, it's work. It's work. So to turn up and keep bringing that energy, bring that vibe for a 3-hour or however many, you might be doing 2 gigs a day, it's a lot of energy to turn up with.
Yeah, it's hard mahi. But like I said, it's an apprenticeship. And I think it kind of fell into my lap, the role, and it was just the right thing to do.
Tell me about the development arc within that. So you get on your first cruise ship, and then like from day one, is that courage? Where is that courage and that like knowing of providing a show on day one compared to, I don't know, whatever, 3 months down the track? Like, what is that development arc?
Yeah. Well, so I was in a 5-piece band, and the hardest part is, locking in 400 songs that we prepped beforehand. And it's impossible to nail 400 songs perfectly. So, and we had a bit of few cogs that took a while to kind of gel in on our first contract. And
interpersonal, or what was
all musical, personal? Like, personal things always going to happen, because you're dealing with 5 people that have opinions, and that can be a challenge. And I was the youngest. The oldest could have been my dad. So I'm dealing with adults. I'm 19 years old, which is a huge development curve for me, because I gotta learn to talk, I gotta learn to express, I gotta learn to listen, and I gotta learn to like work with my colleagues. And these guys have been playing bands before I was born, so there's that kind of thing.
So what the fuck do you know?
Yeah, there's that, and there was times where I had attitude and they had it, so there was a huge social learning curve. And then also dealing with lots of nationality. Like, my bosses would range from, either being UK, American, to Eastern European. Like, so I'm dealing with a lot of multi-cultures and learning to communicate. the idea of growing the confidence with it is just the day in, day in out. It's like, how can I improve myself? Because that's what I had most control of. And I wasn't the most disciplined person, because once you get on a cruise ship, it's a challenging lifestyle. It's not as romantic as it sounds, because all the what's the word? I don't want to use like anything negative, but the villains of what destroys our ego is available. You know, you got close encounters of
temptation.
of a lot of sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of vibes. You know, dealing with the same people, Shortland Street. You know, think of that, or Home and Away for the Aussies. And then alcohol's dirt cheap. People end up being addicted to the alcohol, and it just actually turns into quite a toxic environment. And then also you got to show up and play, and it'll range from like doing three shows, 4 shows, maybe 1 show. Some of them are ballroom dancing styles and that. And it depends on our music director. So they would be the ones to be like, okay, I want you to do this and that. And for us, that we were like the party band, we were really good at classic rock, or pop music. We were good at rock and roll, rockabilly, just kind of like the straight rocky dance kind of vibe. But when we had to start learning, like, be consistent with our waltzes, because we had dancers, like ballroom dancers take their music seriously, and trying to do like a tango and doing some salsa, some South American grooves and that, where our drummer no knowledge or anything. It was a real challenge for him. Musically, like for me, learning some bossa nova and that, I actually found quite rewarding, and I've noticed it in my fingerstyle picking these days. It stuck around. But the ballroom dancers, they don't hold back. They will tell you to slow down and that. And that is a real challenge, especially when you're 5 Kiwis that have been playing rock music, and we've been told the drummer has to play with reed sticks, and he's in a room, and so this is a whole new challenge. Like, I know I was talking about me jumping on tables and that, but that's for like one aspect of the cruise, because we've got to provide different vibes essentially, and trying to navigate that with people older than me, who had their own demons to deal with and reasons why they were on cruise ship. It becomes quite a conflict, and especially on our last contract, where the alcohol kind of took control of a couple of the guys, which was really unfortunate, and we couldn't keep time. We, just really loosening, and we're just getting angry at each other. And we got offered a really good contract after, with pay rise and a whole theatre show designed for the Australia and New Zealand market, where we're a bunch of Kiwis, and we're going to play some Aussie songs and some Kiwi songs and some banter, and that was like the hour show, which would have been great fun for us, something that, bringing our cultures together. And the Aussie crowd on the cruise ships were really good fun, and a lot of banter with us. But the decision was like, I think it's time to let this go, or more money, and I guess more like stage time, like a bigger stage, and more to my portfolio.
Yeah, right.
Me and my wife now, she was the singer. We kind of decided like, nah, we can't keep this up, because we can't keep up with the alcohol demands of some of the guys in the band, and just not wanting to grow as musicians as well. So I think the biggest thing, the learning curve, is actually the more social aspect of cruise ships.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, probably the case with any, for you first, long-term working environment, I guess, in a full-time setting out of the
Yeah.
nest, like everyone's first experience of that is a massive learning curve. But yeah, the being on international waters in a land of luxury, these are luxury experiences that the guests are
Yeah.
participating in. Really, it is quite a unique experience.
Yeah.
How do you think that's contributed to like this eventual pathway into sound medicine and frequency harnessing?
Um, I think diving deep into those environments where you're playing at a pub or the weddings, for example, I feel like I have a good foundation in that field. Right, I got I picked up the decks to basically DJ. The concept of DJing was always amongst me, but me being a wedding DJ wasn't much of a step away because I've been in that entertainment field where my job is to keep people dancing. So this is a whole avenue of music that people can do to make money. Now, there was an aspect of me where I decided to change my lifestyle, my values changed, and I ended up having new experiences. And I started looking kind of at the past of my love for music. And doing the corporate thing, you kind of let go that you're doing it for love because it's more of a financial business, and your role, like I said, is make people dance. Ambience, you could be just playing acoustic guitar and your job is to fill the space. Nobody's going to listen really. People are talking over the top of you, but your job is to, fill the space with music, make it a lovely atmosphere. And with that, you kind of forget why you love music because you kind of focus on that. And I'll do like 3 or 4 gigs in a weekend and, I'm just doing that, boom, boom, boom. So creating space back into my life when my values changed, I kind of leaned back to some of the records that I loved as a kid, as a teenager, and this feeling of getting goosebumps, like something resonates. And like when you're on stage, something just clicks. If you're hearing the sounds, the bass sounds tight, and me as a guitarist, I'm like, okay, I'm locked in with the drum and bass, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting goosebumps. And then same with listening. There's something to that kind of created the curiosity of looking into music as a source of well-being. And that kind of got me down this rabbit hole of looking into sound and how sound actually affects our body, mind, and soul. Kind of going into physics, kind of going into some of the spiritual stuff, and just trying to collect a lot of information. And my wife ended up buying like those plastic quartz bowls, and she got them at 432. I think just because that's what they had when she brought them. But then we had baby number 2, and the pregnancy was pretty gnarly, so she never actually used them. But then I kind of thought, well, we just spent like $2,500 on these bowls. I might as well see what these things are all about. And at that time, I kind of had a couple of experiences listening to like didgeridoo and some drums and that. And there's something about certain instruments when you, I don't know, immerse yourself with didgeridoo, is your body goes, like your body and your mind just go, whew, like disappear. Like didgeridoo, like I can feel it through my whole body. And it's these kind of things I started to experience. So then I was like, oh, I want to see more about this, what's going on here. And then I kind of took the courage. I was like, well, I'm going to do like my first sound bath. And that's just basically my intention behind it was out of curiosity. I'm going to use the bowls. I'm actually going to play guitar with the bowl. I found a way where I could still play guitar because that's my instrument. That's my communicative tool.
Yeah.
I don't sing.
Yeah.
Now that I do tone, I've learned to use my throat and play with mouth shape, but not in a melodic way, just more of a textual way. And
like a drone, kind of.
Yeah, and technically mimicking a didgeridoo. It's kind of where it came from.
Well, chanting traditions, they build themselves on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And let's talk about the voice. It's like, I read this book from Jonathan Goldman, and he talks about how he liberated his voice, and he talked a lot about like Tuvan singing, like the Mongolian throat singing, where they're creating a harmonic on top of it. But these I can't remember where they're from. They're from Nepal. That's right, Nepal, and they were able to get a triad with their harmonic, which like kind of tripped me out even more. I was like, what? You can there's
wild.
people that can get the harmony, but having two harmonies from one voice, that
wow.
And so I listened to some of these tracks that he recommended, and I was just like, whoa, what is this? So like just by being curious, I was just like, whoa, okay. Like, I don't know how to relate this to anything. This is super unique, super amazing. It was so blissful to listen to. And just the anatomy of it is like, how? And these guys, they've lived in their whole life, and their purpose is every day that, they do their chanting, and they have their own certain way of how they chant, and they've developed the three, I think Jonathan calls it like the three chord voice. So going back to the bowls then, with like my sound bar, what I would do is I would start with the big bowl, which was a C note relative to the 432. And it was kind of the lowest note. I would start there and I would end there, and I would just kind of, let's see what happens. And what I found fascinating is like people who came in stressed, like all fizzled, and the getting themselves ready or to lie down and that, within like 4 minutes of the bowl, they're just still. The countless messages that I got like after all my sound baths was like their sleep had improved. There was one lady she was only sleeping like 2 hours a day, and she came to one of my sessions, and she got home and went to sleep and had like a 8-hour sleep. And she's like, that's the first time I've slept like that in 2 years. So I was like, okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm having real life feedback. I don't know how to describe it because unfortunately, like with this day and age, we got so segregated with the sciences. There's no room for the arts to play a role to describe some of these phenomena that we're feeling. And that kind of got me to the question of like, what is all of this? What is reality? And it kind of took me back to school when doing like level 2 and 3, like physics and chemistry, where you learn about the space of atoms, and there's 99.999% empty space, and they're just vibrating. And it's like, so the sound is vibration, and all things are vibration. So then
Everything's frequencies.
Everything's got a certain frequency. And what's amazing is after kind of going deeper and deeper, I got a little bit more curious about number patterns, and especially with ancient civilizations and things like that, and these certain numbers that kind of show up naturally, but also like around Egypt or some of these temples in India that have been carved out of the rock. And it's always numbers to do with like 108, like the rosary beads, 108. Numbers like 72, like the 72 virgins, or 144,000, I think is something to do with revelations. But these numbers have a pattern with each other, and they also have a value of either 3, 6, or 9. And we got Nikola Tesla, who famously said, if you knew the patterns of 3, 6, and 9, you'll learn the magnificence of the world, or unlock the keys to the universe, or something like that. I can't remember. That's a paraphrase, but it's quite roughly to those exact numbers. So it's kind of like my curiosity's taken me to these kind of avenues, and I'm just literally just exploring them and seeing what happens to myself, because that's my main point of feedback.
Yeah, and the creative sandbox.
Yeah. And
that's beautiful. That's 2 interesting artistic development curves that we've covered there. The exploration of sound medicine and the exploration of financially rewarding, you could say, being a day-to-day musician on the cruise ship and navigating the social elements of all that, getting your chops up, and then ending up back in this curious exploration of what music really boils down to, or what reality maybe boils down to, and frequencies. So zoomed out a bit of late, Ash, it sounds like. Zoomed right out.
It's
cool.
Looking at the stars is probably one of the most humbling things you can do.
I bet there's some good stars up there, huh?
Yep.
All right, my man. We've got to pull this one to a close, letting the song of the month play out underneath while you can tell people where to follow your journey, and anything else they should know, please.
Awesome. So you can find me on Ash Sales Music on Instagram and YouTube. I have lots of 1-hour journeys that I'm just either playing guitar or I'm experimenting with some digital synths and stuff like that. You can find my music all on platforms as under Ash Sales, on Apple Music, Spotify.
And just to say, Sales is S-A-L-E-S, right?
Yeah. I'm a sales rep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find my music on all the platforms, SoundCloud and all that. And I also have a Patreon, which is more designated for like creating a community to talk about frequency, sound baths, and a place where I can be a bit more of my woo-woo self.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for jumping on and sharing all of that today, Ash. Until next time, folks, we will be back next month. Take care until then. Ciao, ciao.